based on, I guess, the way the group is looking, Chelsea, they've already assured of top spot. Zagreb, they can't progress further in this competition. The best they can hope for is a win today and hope results go their way in order to get the Europa League spot. Do you see a shock tonight?
Well, first things first for Chelsea. I mean, I'm sure after what they saw yesterday with the drama of Spurs, they'll be delighted that they got essentially their own destiny wrapped up in the previous match. So the pressure's off. But will that in turn allow a chance for Dinamo? They still feel quite a strong squad. Graham Potter, obviously, they go into this game after, at least for him, a personal perspective, a nightmare scenario against Brighton, losing 4-1, returning to the Amex. Only was about a number of weeks after signing for Chelsea. So, I mean, he's had a good start as Chelsea boss, but maybe that just slightly derailed any sort of maybe ended the honeymoon phase prematurely. So it's about getting back on track for them really here. You said it yourself that the destiny's already complete. First place is guaranteed. They'll play against the second place team in the knockout round. But Dinamo Zagreb will still continue on their European campaign, at least in the Europa League, if they were to get a win. But they'd also hope that Milan win their match against Salzburg. But Milan, of course, need to as well if they want to progress. So at least on the whole, the group, there's still something to play for, not for Chelsea, but for the other three teams, definitely.
Yeah, so as the ball is played around on the left-hand side, I will just run you through the lineups if you did miss them in the earlier preamble. For Chelsea, it's Mendy in goal, Chilwell, Koulibaly, Chalobah and Azpilicueta, the back four. Jorginho and Denis Zakaria in the midfield position. It's the first appearance for Zakaria in a Chelsea shirt. And it looks like Sterling and Mount are going to play on either wing with Havertz and Aubameyang up top. For Dinamo Zagreb, it's Livakovic in goal, Ristovski, Šutalo and Peric in the back three, Misic the holding midfielder, Moharami, Ivanišek, Ademi and Ljubičić the midfield four, Petkovic and Orsic lead the line. Keeping up to date on this game and the goals as they go in the other Champions League fixtures. If you missed the results in the earlier kickoffs, to finish Real Madrid 5, Celtic 1 and Shakhtar Donetsk 0, RB Leipzig 4, which means that Real Madrid will finish top of the group on 13 points, Leipzig second on 12, Shakhtar will take that Europa League spot on 6 and Celtic are out of European competition on just 2 points. So Zagreb trying to break forward with Petkovic. He is well tackled by Trevor Chalobah. Out for a throw-in for Zagreb on that far left-hand side. So our off-tube studio pictures focus in on the Zagreb fans. Filled out that away end, trying to create some noise in Stamford Bridge. They're still fully behind their side. Here's Moharami for Zagreb. Held up by Aubameyang. He's back towards Ristovski. Find support behind him in the form of Šutalo. Chelsea trying to put the press on from the front, unable to really get close to a Zagreb man as the long ball was played forward. Petkovic's flick on will try and find the ever dangerous Mislav Orsic, who caused Chelsea no end of problems in the reverse fixture on match day 1, which Zagreb of course famously won by 1-0, and it saw the end of Thomas Tuchel's tenure as Chelsea manager. So Chelsea will surely be looking to enact some form of revenge tonight.
Oh yeah, definitely. And you said it that obviously Tuchel's no longer in charge, so I mean Graham Potter, he hasn't had the experience of facing Dinamo yet in European competition. So in an essence, and the fact that there's quite a few changes to the lineup, it's still a new experience in parts for Chelsea. But it was obviously a bit of a disastrous result in the Croatian capital in the first match day, which probably offset a few immediate concerns, thinking they might not get through the group or they might have to leave until the last match day. But they recovered well and they've obviously guaranteed qualification. So I don't entirely think that revenge would be necessary, but it's at home. Of course, struggled at home against Salzburg, got a 1-1 draw there. So as far as trying to get maybe a fortress back at Stamford Bridge, that's the priority, maybe ahead of just getting one over Dinamo Zagreb, just getting the 3 points rather than sort of laughing in the face of the team that beat you in the first match today.
I'll have to agree with that, as Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang has come in a little bit hard and late on Ristovski. That will be a free kick for Dinamo Zagreb midway inside their own half. They look to try and break forward here with Robert Ljubičić. Now finding Alian Ademi. Back towards Ljubičić on the left-hand side, held up by his fellow number 14, Trevor Chalobah. Now with Ademi once again. Will hold off Mason Mount. Have to go backwards. 5 minutes into this game so far. Zagreb having the majority of the possession, but still no shot so far of note from either side. It's been a cagey opening. Either side really able to utilise the possession whenever they have had it. So all the way back now with Livakovic as Ademi then gets away from Mount. His pass beats Zakaria. Now with Mahrami. Petkovic. It's been really well tackled there by Zakaria. Looked like a fair tackle, but the referee, who today is Francois Letexier, of the French official, has adjudged that to be a foul. And well, looking at that replay, it looked like he got the ball initially, but it is just a clear clip of the heels there from the Swiss midfielder. That's probably maybe down to the fact he's had very little to no first team action ever since joining Chelsea.
Well, you said it yourself, it's his first few minutes in a Chelsea shirt. There'll be rustiness. It's all the cliches that come out really, but it is a case of rustiness and maybe just trying to find your feet in in Chelsea colours. I think this is a perfect game for him though to start, because the pressure is off for Chelsea, especially in the middle of the park. And Dinamo have seen a majority of the possession really in this opening stage, so I imagine that the midfield of Chelsea will be quite busy as they do try and come forward on the right here. Mahrami gets the ball into the back post looking for Ademi. It's flicked further towards the number 9, Bruno Petkovic, and the top scorer in the Croatian domestic league has just added a goal in the Champions League. And we've only just mentioned that for Chelsea they had a nightmare game in the first match day away in Zagreb, and it is Dinamo once again to take the lead. This time in London, the away support is in jubilation. Is there another shock on the cards here?
Well, there very well might be. First shot of the game from either side, and it's come for the first goal. It's a bit of a horror show defensively from Chelsea. Patient build-up from Zagreb, picked up by Petkovic, who wanted to get a cross in initially. He was held up by Zakaria, moved it to credit. He's alert to where the ball might fall. He beats his man to it and he plants his header. Granted, very centrally, so his arguments could be made that Mendy could do a little bit better there, but he's so close to the goal. I think that might be a little bit harsh to say that Mendy should be saving that.
Yeah, especially, and you're right, it does in the end come off Azpilicueta's at the back of his head. He's almost just, he's in all sorts of problems really, because Ademi's put the pressure on him. He doesn't know how deep the cross is. Just comes off the back of his head, and then Petkovic is about 3 yards out. He gets quite a lot of power on the ball, because the ball back in off Azpilicueta didn't have too much pace on it, so Petkovic almost generated everything off his own strike, and yeah, it's quite close to the goal line. It'd be tough to criticise Mendy there, because it was in the centre of the goal, but he needs some reactions to stop that one.
Yes, as Petkovic has come in late on Kalidou Koulibaly, who's down on the deck in a real spot of bother, clutching his left knee. Seeing a replay of that tackle from Petkovic, he just overrun with a heavy touch after Zakaria did well to put the pressure on, and it looks like Petkovic may have just caught Koulibaly when he falls down. So I'm not sure if it's going to be just a dead leg or if it's going to be a little bit more serious for the Senegalese defender, but he's in a real amount of pain, isn't he?
It's an awkward one, isn't it, Will, because it's the challenge from Zakaria that sort of sends Petkovic tumbling. His momentum, he just goes right into the knee of Koulibaly, and it's stood to planted. It's almost as if his knee is bent as it is, so when the contact's made, it just buckles under that weight and the impact, and it's never nice. I mean, we're looking at the physio, he's sort of stretching out the knee of Koulibaly, which might be a positive sign, but it certainly looks a nasty one. And of course he's struggled with injuries, well, not just in his Chelsea career, but often in his sort of senior career as a whole, going back to Napoli as well. So I mean, it's going to be a painful one regardless, but he is back on his feet and hobbling away, so you'd assume it should be okay. Petkovic goes to apologise, but I don't think he can do much about it, because he's sent tumbling by the challenge to Zakaria.
Yes, as Zakaria just has a few words of Koulibaly to make sure he's okay. He's hobbling off the field, but he's a tough cookie. Koulibaly will try and continue as Cucurella and Thiago Silva both warm up on the sidelines for Chelsea, just in case Koulibaly is unable to continue. So just to let you know what that goal for Dinamo Zagreb means in the shape of the group. Chelsea would of course still remain on top spot. Zagreb still in fourth, but that is only because AC Milan versus RB Salzburg is still goalless. If AC Milan was to take the lead in that game, then Zagreb would go ahead of Salzburg and occupy that final, that third place spot, which is coveted for that Europa League qualification. So at the moment, they're doing what they need to do, Zagreb. But they'll have to hold on to that lead as well, as Havertz finds Aubameyang away from Ristovski. Chilwell back towards Koulibaly. He's back now on to the field of play. It is currently only our game of the 8 o'clock kickoffs in the Champions League with a goal. Here's Jorginho finding Zakaria on the left-hand side. Look, easily intercepted by Ristovski in his clearance. Cannons off of Chilwell is appealing for a corner kick. It goes out for a goal kick though, and I think that's quite clearly the right decision there from the linesman.
Oh, it is, yeah, and it's just going to add to the frustration for Chelsea. I mean, Graham Potter's having a fair old word with his coaching staff, and we mentioned just before the goal really that we said Dinamo, they'd had a good spell of possession on the ball. Chelsea haven't really sort of breached the back line of Dinamo at the moment. So it's been a brilliant start from the Croatians, and it's going back to that table. Of course, Milan, they don't need to win; they could just hold on to the draw. But given that they're against the team that are trying to get second, it would take a bit of weight off the shoulders if they were to get a goal themselves. Then they'd have a sort of 2-goal cushion in a way, and that would work massively in favour of Dinamo, given they've taken this early lead against Chelsea. They'd get third if it was to work out that way. So as for Ante Čačić, they've so far, I mean, did he expect them to score so early? Maybe at the moment things are going to plan, but with the goal, it's maybe going perfectly.
Yeah, it really is so far. I mean, 11 minutes in to the game, 11 and a half really. They've got that goal advantage, and the way these early few minutes have gone, you've got to say they probably deserve it. They've defended very resolutely. They've given Chelsea next to nothing from an attacking point of view, and whenever they've come forward, granted only once or twice, they have looked relatively dangerous. They've attacked with real intent, and they've got a far larger bench to choose from than Chelsea do. If they do feel like they need to have some fresh legs at any point, Chelsea, their only options are Bettinelli, Silva, Pulisic, Loftus-Cheek, Broja, Ziyech, Gallagher and Cucurella. I believe there's an extra 4 players on the bench for Dinamo Zagreb this evening, as the ball is played down the left by Peric. Over the top, intending for the run of Orsic. Well shepherded back by Koulibaly, volleyed away by Mendy. Won't find a man in blue. Back forward by Šutalo. Chilwell has lost it in the air. That's brought down wonderfully well by Bruno Petkovic. Now Moharami. Now with Petkovic again, using his strength to hold off Zakaria. Not much in the way of movement. So again, flicks it back towards Ristovski, and Zagreb will recycle possession once more and focusing on trying to make Chelsea do all the moving. That was fantastic forward play by Petkovic there.
It was, and he's full of confidence in scoring that goal. I mean, he's up top with Mislav Orsic as well, who coincidentally he was the one to score in Croatia against Chelsea. So the two of them are a handful against the Blues at the moment. But Petkovic, he's sort of that reference striker that he's got a bit of everything. He's got that strength. He's not the tallest, but he's got that technical ability as well, which is shown by that fantastic first touch. They were just lumped forward by Šutalo. It was a ball out of nothing, and nearly Petkovic made something out of it. So I mean, the Chelsea defence have already seen that he's going to be a handful, but only 13 minutes in, he's seen quite a lot of the ball.
Here in possession now for Chelsea is Jorginho. 1-2 with Zakaria, has supporting Chalobah to his right, will utilise him, and now an opportunity for the young defender to come forward. His through ball intending for the run of Mason Mount. It was a nice idea, just squirmed away from the English midfielder and goes straight into the arms of the goalkeeper Dominik Livakovic. He will take his time in holding on to possession and looking for a bit of support. There is the first goal in one of the other games. Juventus 0, PSG 1. Kylian Mbappe has given the Parisians the lead there, which means as it stands, PSG would still remain in top spot above Benfica by 2 points. Juventus, well, they'll actually be behind Maccabi Haifa as it stands, and they would not qualify for the Europa League, and that would be another one of the European giants that would not qualify for any form of European football. After last night we saw Atletico Madrid fail to get into the knockout stages, and well, this Juventus side is, well, it really shows how far they've fallen.
It does, and there's obviously a lot of frustration around Max Allegri. The style of play that he's playing is very negative, and they're not seeing a lot of action, at least not scoring many goals in Serie A, because they're struggling domestically and continentally. And well, in a group that obviously contains some big guns like Benfica and PSG, you've still got Maccabi Haifa. You're going to finish below them as well, especially for the side. And it's no disservice to the Israeli side, because they've made a good account of themselves in this group. But when you look at the size of Juventus, for them to finish so low, I think the issue for them, of course, I think many fans will want Allegri gone, but I think there's an issue of if they were to sack him, the payoff would be astronomical, and one that the club can't afford. So it's a very unenvious situation, really, where they can't get rid of their manager because they can't afford to get rid of him.
Yes, indeed. There is a big goal in our group, though, as AC Milan have taken the lead against Salzburg. Olivier Giroud has got the goal. bots. I'm sure that news will have filtered in to Stamford Bridge and got the Croatian fans once again bounding in the Stamford Bridge away end. But there could be an opportunity here for Chelsea to have a rare foray forward as Havertz was a dangerous ball into the area. First effort on goal is Raheem Sterling at the back post, who managed to catch it on the volley. Couldn't quite get it on target. In the end, it sails comfortably both wide and over.
It does, but at least it's encouraging. I mean, Havertz is supposed to be one of the two strikers in this Chelsea lineup, but he's dropped deep a bit and he's looked for the runners ahead of him. He's made a good run down the back post, and he's just got the pace ahead of the defenders. It's a good ball in, but perhaps he's got too much pace on it and it doesn't give a lot of time for Sterling to react. He gets the contact on it, but it's going to take a lot of quality, which Sterling does have, but more necessary to get it on target. But it's a positive improvement, at least on the face of it, for Potter's side.
Yes, there's finally something to shout about from a Chelsea fan perspective, as Mount's done really well to get away from one, then loses out, and now Zagreb have an opportunity to break forward with Ademi. Skipping away from Jorginho, has the overlap in Ristovski, won't utilise him, instead goes towards Mahrami. He looks to try and get a cross in, that's good block by Aubameyang doing his defensive duties, as Zakaria helps out and then finds Chilwell, who also looks to pound the ball away from danger. Havertz appealing for a free kick, and it looks like he has been fouled by Misic there, so it will be an opportunity for Chelsea to clear their lines and start a new attack from the halfway line, as we see Kovacic in a sort of Peaky Blinders style flat cap on the Chelsea bench. He's not been named in the squad today, which is probably understandable considering the hat he's wearing. But he's also alongside Kepa Arrizabalaga, of course, got that nasty injury against Brighton in the last fixture. Formerly of Dinamo Zagreb, Kovacic, as Aubameyang finds Sterling. This could be an opportunity. Sterling gets away from one, then gets a shot away, and there's the equaliser. Chelsea have managed to get on level terms little over 10 minutes after initially going behind. Patient play by Raheem Sterling to hold on to it. Could have taken the shot earlier, decided to take a few more touches and slot it into the bottom right-hand corner.
Well, it's a very exciting final match here, this group, because some teams, at least, they've bounced up and down from third and fourth. It means, of course, Dinamo go back into fourth as it stands, and we only just mentioned about a minute ago Sterling at least getting a sniff at goal. This is a much clearer opportunity for him, but one that he just creates by himself. It's a good ball in the end towards Aubameyang. There's a slight interception on it, and then that back heel from Aubameyang, it just causes a lot of panic in the back line of the Croatian side. It's just enough to get Sterling back into play. He just takes a few touches to get more central to the goal. He uses his weak foot quite well in the end. He just passes it into the far corner. Livakovic hasn't really got too much of a chance. He's already at full stretch. But after 18 minutes, and after 18 minutes in the other game between Milan and Salzburg, it's just showing that how easily it can change for both Salzburg and Dinamo on this final match day.
Yeah, I think looking at the replays there, questions should be asked of Shutalo in the centre half position there, as Mount looks to try and find Aubameyang. Opportunity again for Chelsea. Aubameyang tries to break forward. It was a heavy touch by the Gabon forward, and he was unable to get on the end of it in front of Livakovic, who was quick off his line to smother the opportunity. Aubameyang scored already one or two for Chelsea since his move from Barcelona to a different part of London, of course, formerly of Arsenal. Koulibaly chests it down to find Jorginho, and a cute little back heel as well by Koulibaly. Havertz tries to find Sterling, who will try and beat Ljubicic to it. Almost a bit of miscommunication between the Zagreb defender and the goalkeeper, and well, Zagreb, there's an air of nervousness in their play now.
I don't know if they were unsure of how to react after scoring. I mean, we looked at Ante Šatic's reaction. It was a little fist bump, probably because he knew that Milan needed to score as well to help them, and then they did. I'm just wondering if that goal from Milan as well, maybe it fed through to the players on the pitch and panic started to settle in, because in the last 5-10 minutes Chelsea have been on top. They've responded very well. It was always going to be difficult for Dinamo to hold on for such a long time in the game as Azpilicueta tries to break the line. Dinamo goes out for a goal kick, but it's tough, isn't it, of course, because you can always argue about when's the right time to score a goal. I suppose you can't really choose when you come to such a strong team like Chelsea. It's just about taking your opportunities, which they have, but then it's just a bit of panicking at the back, and hard work's been undone.
Yeah, all their hard work has been for no more, and it will frustrate the Croat side to no end. And so that was Sterling's second goal of the Champions League group stage, incidentally. As the header on by Petkovic will find Moharami, plays it down the line for Orsic. It's not a bad first touch, doesn't have much in the way of support in the area. Looks to put it towards the edge. It almost fell kindly to a mixture of Petkovic and Ademi. Clearance made. Sterling is then adjudged to have fouled Shutalo. So it will be a free kick for Zagreb just on the halfway line. Another goal to tell you about in the Champions League. Benfica have taken the lead away from home against Maccabi Haifa. Gonzalo Ramos getting the goal there, which moves Maccabi Haifa back down into fourth. So Juventus currently still holding on to a third placed finish as it currently stands. Now for Zagreb, moving over towards the right hand side is Rostovski, back towards Livakovic. We put under pressure by Aubameyang, who's got pace. Livakovic beats him to it though. Long clearance setting for Petkovic. Beats Chalobah to it, but he has handles. And the free kick is then taken short and quickly. Back now with Koulibaly, moving it towards the left in the form of Ben Chilwell. Midway. Quetta, Lubicic won't get on the end of it. The header by Azpilicueta is poor. Petkovic is beaten in the air by Jorginho. Is then found by Mount. Mount looks to bring forward, and then surely he's been caught there by Misic. He has. And it looks like Francois Letexier is not going to have any more of that from Misic. He's going to be showing the first yellow card of the game. It's the second or third foul that Misic has given away. And it was a lazy leg, but looking at the replay, not much, if any, contacts.
Well, you said it yourself in the terms of lazy. That's probably what sort of convinced Letexier to give the yellow card, because there's not a lot of contact in it, but he's definitely stretched his leg out. Mount was already sort of past the Croatian midfielder, and I just think Chelsea are definitely getting a stamp on the game now, and you're seeing maybe that as proven by Dimo's getting those fouls away. They're not really defending as well as they did at the beginning of the game. And, there's a ball into the box for Chelsea over everyone's head. Moharami can deal with that one under the pressure of Chilwell. Chelsea win a throw-in incidentally deep inside Dinamo territory, but yeah, Chelsea have just got back into the game at the right time, really, I suppose.
And they really have. Is that going to be a corner kick for Chelsea? It doesn't look like it. Havertz and Chilwell both thought that it was. It's not going to go the Germans' way, though. So it will instead be a goal kick for Dinamo Zagreb. And it gives me the perfect opportunity to hand over to my co-commentator, Ben White, who will take us through to full-time. No, it's not full-time, half-time, I should say.
Oh, no, thanks, you will. Well, goodness me, after Bruno Petkovic found the opener after 6 or 7 minutes, I'm sure Chelsea were maybe worrying a sense of deja vu, having lost 1-0 in the opening match day to the Croatians in Zagreb. It could have been a repeat, this time in the English capital. That equaliser from Raheem Sterling about 5 minutes ago just brought a bit of parity back for Graham Potter's side. Ball at the moment, Koulibaly into Chalobah. Wide again to the captain, Cesar Azpilicueta. Down the line is Kai Havertz under the pressure of Lubicic. That's the check back for Jorginho. It's only the second meeting between the two teams, of course. First one arriving on that first match day. Mislav Orsic, the winning goal. It's a striking partner that's found the net on this occasion against pensioners. Chelsea responded well, and they've seen a lot more of the ball compared to the visitors. Jorginho tries to get a killer through ball behind the back line of Dinamo. Ademi in the end deals with it well. Only as far as Zakaria. Another goal in one of the 8 o'clock kickoffs this evening. Borussia Dortmund have taken the lead in Denmark against FC Copenhagen. It's Thorgan Hazard to break the deadlock in that one. So goals are just about leaking through at the moment after this one. It's the first of the 8 o'clock kickoffs. As we mentioned earlier, Real Madrid earned a comfortable victory against Celtic 5-1 at the Bernabeu. As for Leipzig, resounding victory away from home against Shakhtar Donetsk. Dinamo make a bit of a hash of trying to play it out the back, and Chelsea can get it back under their spell rather easily. Mason Mount towards the far corner, and it will be a corner that he earns. It's a cross blocked in the end from Dino Perez. It's a chance for the big players to come forward from Chelsea. Koulibaly, Chalobah, perhaps Zakaria could make a into the box. Ben Chilwell's going to be the one to go over to this one. And, well, after a positive start from Dinamo, maybe it was a mistake at the back for the equaliser. I think the last thing they want to do now is, because they're only one goal away from sort of getting themselves back into European destination, and it's not over just yet, so you've got to concentrate on the set pieces. I'll ask for Paul's thoughts in a second, because it does look like Ben Chilwell is going to swing this one in towards the 6-yard area. It's Koulibaly that does try and flick it towards goal, aiming for that far post, just a bit too much power on it in the end. It was a comfortable one for Livakovic to watch it sail over his crossbar. He just ran a little bit of space ahead of Bruno Petkovic was his marker, and just so easily lead to a goal which could spell the end for Dinamo. But since that equaliser, Chelsea have looked far better, haven't they?
Yes, they have. They've been by far and beyond the dominant force in this fixture. I mean, that header from Koulibaly, he's a really decent force in the air, the Senegalese defender. Probably expected a little bit more from him there. Gets power, just doesn't get quite over it, and it goes quite comfortably over the bar in the end. But yeah, since their equalising goal, Zagreb have barely pushed into the Chelsea half, haven't really tested the defence nor Mendy in the Chelsea goal. But for me, despite this being his first game in the Chelsea shirt, I've been massively impressed with Denis Zakaria so far. And if he continues to see out the remainder of this game performing as he is, I can see him getting many, many more minutes in the Chelsea shirt.
Absolutely, and I think Pratt will be keeping in mind his inclusion in future matches, of course. Between now and the World Cup break, there's still plenty of fixtures to be had for English sides. For Chelsea, for example, they've still got 3 fixtures to complete before they do, in the end, take the international break. It's London derby this weekend between Chelsea and Arsenal. It doesn't get any easier, really, for Graham Potter, because then, only a matter of days later, in the League Cup, they have to travel to the Etihad to face Manchester City in what is unquestionably the biggest match of the third round. And then it's another difficult game, really, to go to St James's Park to face a very informed Newcastle side. A stern test for Graham Potter, really, after what was a very difficult test against his former club, it's Brighton and Hove Albion. That resounding 4-1 victory for the Seagulls at the like this. They'll be quite grateful that, I suppose, at least continentally, they're already wrapped up to be in the knockout rounds, and they can sort of focus on the games to come.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, you're looking at those fixtures that they're running into from a league perspective. You'd probably say Graham Potter would take 2 draws, preferably 1 win, 1 loss. I think would be also acceptable. But to be unbeaten in those fixtures would be no small feat at all. And then against tournament, they've won it countless times over the past few years. They're really difficult to stop, particularly at the Etihad, but at the end of the day, it's a cup competition. It's anyone's game, so they should feel confident that they could make it Jarancelli, I should say, has got the goal for Maccabi Haifa, which means they go back into third, and Juventus are once again bottom of their group.
Tough run of fixtures for Chelsea. It does give that perfect audition, really, for plenty of players, namely Denis Zakaria. You see that the midfield against Brighton didn't have the best of performances. Of course, you can highlight Loftus-Cheek with headline it, I suppose, with his own goal, but it wasn't exactly a convincing performance from any of the Chelsea players. Maybe some positions are up for grabs in Potter's tactics. So lose possession of the throw, but they do win it back quickly thanks to Raheem Sterling. He finds Kai Havertz on the wing. He gets into the area under the pressure of the Dinamo defence. He fizzes it into Raheem Sterling, who'd lost his marker. He was in acres of space, and the first time left-footed strike maybe just leant back a bit too much. It goes sailing over the crossbar, but with very little pressure from the defence. It's another great opportunity for Sterling to get his second of the game.
He's got to be scoring for me there, bare minimum hitting the target. It's wonderful play by Havertz. It's the perfect pass. He's around, 7-8 yards out, Raheem Sterling. Yes, it bounces just before it comes to him, but he should be reading that flight of the ball, and he's got to be hitting the target. And a player of his quality and of his experience in this competition, and playing at the upper echelons of English football, he's got to be scoring for me.
His quality, maybe 9 times out of 10 to find the back of the net. Incidentally, despite missing that opportunity, he is Chelsea's top scorer this season at the moment with 5 goals, 2 assists as well. So Sterling's quality of goals himself, but providing them to teammates as he tries to provide it into the area for Mason Mount, tries to cut it back to Kai Havertz, who falls kindly for Denis Zakaria, who gets the strike in. It nearly was blocked on the line by Sadek Mokrami, but on his Chelsea debut, his first few minutes for the pensioners, he earns his goal. It's a round of applause from Graham Potter and the home crowd in Stamford Bridge. just about went over the line in the end, Will, but he won't care one bit. It's his first Chelsea goal in his first game.
Yeah, and he's deserved that from his first half-hour performance, and he's getting a rousing reception from the Chelsea faithful. Once again, really well worked by Chelsea to inch their way further up the field. Sterling clearly onside when he picks the ball up and sets off. I believe that's Mason Mount. His pass takes a big deflection, and he's so close to being kept out by, I believe it's Moharami, lurking at the back post. Maybe could have done a bit better. We're seeing another replay here, and he just squirms out from underneath his feet. So I think because of that, initially I thought it might have actually come off Moharami, then the goalkeeper before going in. So because it has just squirmed underneath the foot of the defender, I think that is going to go down as Zakaria's goal, and rightfully so.
Rightfully so indeed. As you say, if there was a bit more purchase on the block from Moharami and it came back off Livakovic, it might have been an unfortunate own goal, but only the one touch from the Dinamo defender, and the strike was already on target, of course, as Zakaria does earn his first goal in Chelsea colours. He'll be absolutely delighted with that one, and having just said really that there's places up for grabs in the Chelsea lineup to get a goal, but to also have quite an impressive performance just in the middle of the park. He's earned a free kick now in Dinamo territory. In fact, I'll break that thought just for a second, because Sevilla have taken a shock lead at the Etihad. Of course, Man City, they're already through. Of course, winning as well. Sevilla are more likely than not guaranteed to go into the Europa League, but getting that, breaking the deadlock at the Etihad with Rafa Mir in the score sheet is very impressive for the Andalusians. But just going back to that point about Denis Zakaria, we were already very waxy lyrical really about his performance in the first half, and to just get the goal, it's almost a cherry on top of what has been an impressive first half hour.
It has been impressive first half hour, but both him and a fair few of the Chelsea lineup, they didn't start well at all. It's got to be said, they started very, very slowly. They needed that early goal from Zagreb to really wake themselves up, but since then, and getting that equaliser in particular, they have looked a force that we sort of come to expect from Chelsea. They've got some a real depth and quality in the form of defence and in attack as well. And this is the sort of play that we've really should be expecting from them on a week in, week out basis. And so I would say they thoroughly deserve this lead after what was a rather shoddy start.
Shoddy start. I'm sure the alarm bells were ringing when Dinamo did take the lead, especially when we see that Chelsea, they haven't lost a home match in the Champions League since 2019 when they lost to Valencia. It's been 3 years have passed since then. So Pekovic took the lead. I'm sure there were a few concerns in West London, but they have indeed recovered well to bring it from a 1-0 deficit to a 2-1 lead at the moment. 33 minutes gone, more or less. Unofficial off-tube studio commentary we're listening to with Chelsea just happy to keep hold of the ball, having taken the lead thanks to Denis Zakaria's strike from about 10 yards or so out. Jorginho passes between Mason Mount and the Italian, tries to find a killer ball into Raheem Sterling. The England international just can't take it under his spell, and it's a bit of respite for Dinamo. Cesar Azpilicueta is adjudged to have handled a pass from Ljubicic. As for Dinamo, we mentioned that Chelsea haven't lost a home match in the Champions League for 3 years now. Dinamo, they haven't won an away game in this competition since the turn of the millennium. It was way back in 1998 when they earned a victory against Ajax, and I'm sure they felt that the chance was to break what is a very unwanted record of 24 years without an away win in this competition. But the struggles have been there really since finding the back of the net. They haven't really breached the final third of Chelsea since, have they?
No, they haven't. I would say they still have every chance of getting back into this game. It's only a one-goal game, of course, and they've got some talented attacking outlets in the form of Pekovic and Orsic in particular, but it's a very, very tall order to try and stunt this momentum that seems to be growing in the form of Chelsea's attacks. They need to survive for a few more minutes, and who knows, maybe have a good final 5-10 in this first half to really give them some confidence going into the second, because at the moment they seem to be being swarmed by Chelsea players at any moment.
They do try and bring it forward at the moment. A ball played in by Luka Ivanisevic, goes all the way out wide to Orsic, looking for Ljubicic. It's a good turn to get away from Mason Mount. He gets into the penalty area under the pressure of Mount, and Azpilicueta, the Chelsea captain, does very well not only to block the cross but to prevent the ball from going out for a corner. This is good pressure from the Croatians though, but the referee in the end, Francois Letexier, has said it was a bit too overzealous from Dinamo Zagreb, and Chelsea will earn a free kick in their own half. said that Dinamo aren't exactly used to winning away from home in the Champions League. They're certainly not used to losing domestically. They lost their first match of the season last weekend, a 1-0 defeat away to Osijek. They do remain still top of the Croatian First Division regardless, having a 4-point advantage over Hajduk Split. This ball from Koulibaly comes to nothing. In the end, Ristovski can pick up the pieces, goes back to Livakovic, and Dinamo go again. They lump it forward, looking for Orsic. He'll pass around the corner, just a bit too much on it to evade Petkovic. Orsic does press the Chelsea defence with Chalobah under the attention of both Dinamo attackers. In the end, they do rather well, the hosts, to come away with it, and Jorginho's got acres of space to run into, finding Koulibaly. Seems to have recovered well from that early knock. About 5 or so minutes in, Chilwell into Kai Havertz, who's dropped deep to see runners ahead of him. One of those is Mason Mount. Further wide again is Raheem Sterling. A chance to run at Lubicic, and the Croatian defender does well again. Not just only to win the ball back, to earn a free kick for the Croatian side. Lubicic, of course, prior to this match, was the most recent scorer for Dinamo in the Champions League. He scored an equaliser against Salzburg in Zagreb. I suppose in a game like that, of course, Salzburg are a very strong team, but the fact that Dinamo's only win in this group has come against Chelsea, and I was in the first match day, so thinking of it, you'd be capable of beating Chelsea, you might be capable of beating some of the other teams in the group, but to not do that and then maybe miss out on what is theoretically the easiest home match, given that it's Chelsea and Milan, the other teams, to draw against Salzburg must have been a frustration for them.
Yes, it definitely will have been, because after that first victory on match day 1, everything was in their own hands. I just need to have a good home form, avoid defeat in their home games, try and push for the win, and try and shut up shop in the away games in particular. In the end, they were carved open relatively easily in the other fixtures, in particular against AC Milan, where they seemed to have a torrid time against the Italians. Yes, that point for them has, in the grand scheme of things, still kept them within touching distance of still being able to qualify for at least a Europa League spot, but they could have done far, far more, considering the perfect start that they had.
Trying to find the run of Ivanišek again, just too much pace on it for the Dinamo midfielder to get onto it. Pass forward from Chelsea, intercepted by Ristovski. Aubameyang can hold it up well and find Havertz a few yards ahead of him. He looks back for Ben Chilwell, tries to flick it further forward, but Isic does well to knock it towards Mahrami. He earns a foul in his own defensive half under the shirt pull of Ben Chilwell. You mentioned the frustration, of course, for Dinamo, especially given they won that first game against Chelsea. As for Chelsea, they've said that the alarm bells must have been ringing not only in that immediate match, but I suppose in the destiny of trying to qualify for the group. They've achieved it nonetheless, and guaranteed first place in this one. It does mean that 18 of the last 19 times they've been in the Champions League group stage, they have progressed from this level to go into the knockout rounds. I suppose by earning that first place position, it I suppose gives you a more favourable fixture in the next round. You come up against a team that finishes second. Of course, it's never a guarantee that is an easy team, given that on occasions a team you might think that would finish first in a group finishes second, and then you just start to think, oh, we've had a bit of bad luck with the draw. I mean, you're looking at Liverpool have finished second, Club Brugge have certainly had quite a few shocks in the campaign at the moment. Player Kalidou Koulibaly is the one to go into the book for his slide on Bruno Petkovic. He just goes straight through the Croatian striker in an attempt to get the ball. It's a bit of a clumsy challenge from the Senegalese defender. But going back to that, of course, Inter Milan, a team that's finished second, Frankfurt, I mean, in that group anybody could have finished second. Leipzig, and as it stands, Dortmund, and perhaps Benfica as well. There's so many tough teams that you can come against. Of course, but that's the Champions League by nature.
Yeah, but by nature it is meant to be the hardest competition in world football. I mean, you mentioned there with Chelsea, they managed to qualify out their group 18 out of 19 times. I'm fairly certain the one time they didn't get out their group, they ended up winning the Europa League anyway, so they were still probably one of the better teams in the entirety of Europe then. They just unfortunately weren't able to have the strength to get out of their own group on that occasion. So it's no mean feat at all to have the consistency in this competition that Chelsea had. Of course, they've won it very, very recently as well, 2 seasons ago. I mean, I would say they're probably not in a position to be classed as one of the major favourites for this competition. But then again, probably argue they weren't favourites when they last won it, and probably the time they won it before that. So it's a very difficult competition to call, because it's like any cup competition. At the end of the day, because it is knockout football, it's anyone's game.
You said it yourself. I mean, even though it's still over 2 legs, the knockout sort of element of this tournament does mean that if a team was just to play at the best on the day, it's enough to guarantee them to go through to the next round. It's been a goal in one of the evening kickoffs. Juventus found that equaliser in Turin against PSG. It's Bonucci to find that one. So as that stands, it does help them just about creep ahead of Maccabi Haifa, thanks to a more superior head-to-head record. He keeps them top, given the superior goal difference they have, of course, because the 2 matches that PSG and Benfica faced against each other, they ended in draws. That one will come down to goal difference if both sides end on the same points. So this game, it is still 2-1 for Chelsea. At Stamford Bridge, we just saw Armando Broja having a little first half warm-up down the touchlines. He, of course, has his mark after an impressive loan spell last season at Southampton. He did get his first goal of the season in the Premier League against Wolverhampton Wanderers a few weeks ago. So I'm sure Graham Potter is thinking about bringing some of the players off of his bench, which he himself, Will, said there's not many on there. It's almost a throwback to the rules when there was only allowed to be 7 substitutes back in the day. Count 8 on this occasion, certainly far less than Dinamo are offering. So, and given the fact you've got 5 to make, nearly every player on the bench is going to see the pitch. Yeah, so it's going to be, you're going to feel very bad if you're the one outfield player that doesn't get on, because I think it's almost a certainty that Bettinelli is unlikely to show his face today. And the bench they have, yes, they don't have a great deal of players, but bar Thiago Silva, you're looking at a pretty attacking bench they've got to bring on. Yes, Cucurella is another defender, but he can do so much going forward as well. So yeah, they don't have a lot of depth, but they've got a lot of strength that they can bring on, Chelsea. They do, and I suppose if I was to pinpoint Cucurella, you say that he's, of course, a defender that can run forward. Hold that thought, actually, because Dinamo are going to come forward with a demi, finding Mahrami on the wing. He tries to cut it back for the North Macedonian. In the end, Koulibaly does well to clear it as far as he can. Ristovski tries to pick up the pieces. A good tackle on Aubameyang. He gets it back under Dinamo's spell, and they'll come forward again with Mahrami on the wing into Ristovski. Looks to the back post where Pekovic is waiting, and well, Azpilicueta's taken no chances there. They'll play it out for a corner kick. A chance for Dinamo to get themselves back in the game with only a few minutes left of the first half. We're going to tick over into the 44th minute very shortly. We'll eventually find out how many minutes will be added on by the 4th official, as while Mendy's just commanding Chelsea defenders. Plenty of markers back, plenty of attackers forward again for Dinamo. They'll look to swing it in with Mislav Orsic under the head of Ademi, but Edouard Mendy does well in the end, under very little pressure in the end. The catch still needed to be made, and he can try and garner a quick counter-attack for Chelsea. He unloads Ben Chilwell forward, who sprints all the way into Dinamo's defensive half, but Sterling will just slow the pace down for the hosts. Zakaria looks further wide. Kai Havertz is on the wing into Mason Mount. Forward, Aubameyang makes a run to the pass. Comes to nothing in the end. It'll be a Chelsea throw-in. And going back to Cucurella, of course, at Brighton, as a fullback, he could bomb down the wing. But I suppose one of the criticisms recently, maybe that Graham Potter's recognised, is that he's been playing sort of in a back 3, Cucurella, and it certainly didn't help when he had to play in that way against Brighton, against his former club. But when you've got a player that is certainly capable of going forward and that you've spent a lot of money on, you sort of want to give him that responsibility of going forward rather than being at the back, which he's not entirely accustomed to. No, I mean, like for a very long part of his career, particularly at Getafe, he was a left midfielder. Yeah. He was only converted into a left back in sort of the last, 4 years or so. So he is definitely more adept going forward than he is defensively. He's not bad defensively, but it's definitely not his strength. So if you can play him as sort of a left wing back to utilise his capabilities, brilliant. But if you're playing a flat back 4 or putting him in the centre of a back 3, you're not going to get the best out of him, and that's where the errors and the issues from a defence point of view are going to arise. Absolutely, and you assume really that Graham Potter has definitely noticed perhaps that slight struggle in the Chelsea lineup. As a result, he's immediately for this game gone to a back 4 of Azpilicueta, Chalobah, Koulibaly and Ben Chilwell. It certainly looks resolute. I said that they did concede that early goal, but they've looked very strong since of Chelsea, and there will only be 1 minute added on by the fourth official with Chelsea in possession. Kai Havertz, again hugging that touchline, tries to get past Ademi as well to tackle the German, and in the end play it off of him for Dinamo throw-in. Chance for Ante Šasić to give his thoughts really on what was a very promising start to the half, especially when AC Milan also took the lead against Salzburg, but destiny has changed quite a lot since then, with goals from Raheem Sterling and Dennis. Raheem Sterling, he charges into Chelsea's defensive half. It's a good ball into Ristovski, who tries to get past Koulibaly. Again, the Senegalese defender does brilliantly to hound out that potential cross. Will be a corner for Dinamo, which is almost certainly going to be the last action of this half, as we do go past the allotted 1 minute of added time. It'll be a sucker punch for Chelsea to concede so late on in this first 45. The Dinamo fans are still full of voice, as Ortiz should take it quickly, checks back instead. Will instead put it into the box, raises his left arm and does swing it outwards towards the penalty area. It's cleared easily by Chelsea, and that will be the last action. Francois Letexier does blow the whistle for half-time, and after a rather concerning start for Chelsea, going down to that opener by Bruno Petkovic, Graham Potter's side have certainly responded very well with goals from Raheem Sterling and Denis Zakaria on his Chelsea debut. He's had an impressive first 45, and as for Dinamo, they really have to get back in this game if they want to keep their European campaign alive. Half-time at Stamford Bridge, Chelsea 2, Dinamo 1.
Half-time, it is Chelsea 2, Dinamo Zagreb 1. It was the Croats that took the lead after 6 minutes. A cross hitting the back of Azpilicueta's head, falling to Bruno Petkovic, who planted his header into the middle of the goal. They weren't ahead for long though. 10 minutes later, Aubameyang found Raheem Sterling. He got a shot away in the middle of the area, slotting it into the bottom right-hand corner. Before at the half-an-hour mark, it was 2-1 to Chelsea. Debutant Denis Zakaria picking it up from a cross from Mason Mount. His effort squirming underneath the boot of Moharami before crossing the line. Half-time, it is Chelsea 2, Dinamo Zagreb 1. It was the Croats that took the lead after 6 minutes. A cross hitting the back of Azpilicueta's head, falling to Bruno Petkovic, who planted his header into the middle of the goal. They weren't ahead for long though. 10 minutes later, Aubameyang found Raheem Sterling. He got a shot away in the middle of the area, slotting it into the bottom right-hand corner. Before at the half-an-hour mark, it was 2-1 to Chelsea. Debutant Denis Zakaria picking it up from a cross from Mason Mount. His effort squirming underneath the boot of Moharami before crossing the line. Half-time, it is Chelsea 2, Dinamo Zagreb 1. It was the Croats that took the lead after 6 minutes. A cross hitting the back of Azpilicueta's head, falling to Bruno Petkovic, who planted his header into the middle of the goal. They weren't ahead for long though. 10 minutes later, Aubameyang found Raheem Sterling. He got a shot away in the middle of the area, slotting it into the bottom right-hand corner. Before at the half-an-hour mark, it was 2-1 to Chelsea. Debutant Denis Zakaria picking it up from a cross from Mason Mount. His effort squirming underneath the boot of Moharami before crossing the line. Half-time, it is Chelsea 2, Dinamo Zagreb 1. It was the Croats that took the lead after 6 minutes. A cross hitting the back of Azpilicueta's head, falling to Bruno Petkovic, who planted his header into the middle of the goal. They weren't ahead for long though. 10 minutes later, Aubameyang found Raheem Sterling. He got a shot away in the middle of the area, slotting it into the bottom right-hand corner. Before at the half-an-hour mark, it was 2-1 to Chelsea. Debutant Denis Zakaria picking it up from a cross from Mason Mount. His effort squirming underneath the boot of Moharami before crossing the line. Half-time, it is Chelsea 2, Dinamo Zagreb 1. It was the Croats that took the lead after 6 minutes. A cross hitting the back of Azpilicueta's head, falling to Bruno Petkovic, who planted his header into the middle of the goal. They weren't ahead for long though. 10 minutes later, Aubameyang found Raheem Sterling. He got a shot away in the middle of the area, slotting it into the bottom right-hand corner. Before at the half-an-hour mark, it was 2-1 to Chelsea. Debutant Denis Zakaria picking it up from a cross from Mason Mount. His effort squirming underneath the boot of Moharami before crossing the line. Half-time, it is Chelsea 2, Dinamo Zagreb 1. It was the Croats that took the lead after 6 minutes. A cross hitting the back of Azpilicueta's head, falling to Bruno Petkovic, who planted his header into the middle of the goal. They weren't ahead for long though. 10 minutes later, Aubameyang found Raheem Sterling. He got a shot away in the middle of the area, slotting it into the bottom right-hand corner. Before at the half-an-hour mark, it was 2-1 to Chelsea. Debutant Denis Zakaria picking it up from a cross from Mason Mount. His effort squirming underneath the boot of Moharami before crossing the line. Half-time, it is Chelsea 2, Dinamo Zagreb 1. It was the Croats that took the lead after 6 minutes. A cross hitting the back of Azpilicueta's head, falling to Bruno Petkovic, who planted his header into the middle of the goal. They weren't ahead for long though. 10 minutes later, Aubameyang found Raheem Sterling. He got a shot away in the middle of the area, slotting it into the bottom right-hand corner. Before at the half-an-hour mark, it was 2-1 to Chelsea. Debutant Denis Zakaria picking it up from a cross from Mason Mount. His effort squirming underneath the boot of Moharami before crossing the line. Half-time, it is Chelsea 2, Dinamo Zagreb 1. It was the Croats that took the lead after 6 minutes. A cross hitting the back of Azpilicueta's head, falling to Bruno Petkovic, who planted his header into the middle of the goal. They weren't ahead for long though. 10 minutes later, Aubameyang found Raheem Sterling. He got a shot away in the middle of the area, slotting it into the bottom right-hand corner. Before at the half-an-hour mark, it was 2-1 to Chelsea. Debutant Denis Zakaria picking it up from a cross from Mason Mount. His effort squirming underneath the boot of Moharami before crossing the line. Half-time, it is Chelsea 2, Dinamo Zagreb 1. It was the Croats that took the lead after 6 minutes. A cross hitting the back of Azpilicueta's head, falling to Bruno Petkovic, who planted his header into the middle of the goal. They weren't ahead for long though. 10 minutes later, Aubameyang found Raheem Sterling. He got a shot away in the middle of the area, slotting it into the bottom right-hand corner. Before at the half-an-hour mark, it was 2-1 to Chelsea. Debutant Denis Zakaria picking it up from a cross from Mason Mount. His effort squirming underneath the boot of Moharami before crossing the line. Half-time, it is Chelsea 2, Dinamo Zagreb 1. It was the Croats that took the lead after 6 minutes. A cross hitting the back of Azpilicueta's head, falling to Bruno Petkovic, who planted his header into the middle of the goal. They weren't ahead for long though. 10 minutes later, Aubameyang found Raheem Sterling. He got a shot away in the middle of the area, slotting it into the bottom right-hand corner. Before at the half-an-hour mark, it was 2-1 to Chelsea. Debutant Denis Zakaria picking it up from a cross from Mason Mount. His effort squirming underneath the boot of Moharami before crossing the line. Half-time, it is Chelsea 2, Dinamo Zagreb 1. It was the Croats that took the lead after 6 minutes. A cross hitting the back of Azpilicueta's head, falling to Bruno Petkovic, who planted his header into the middle of the goal. They weren't ahead for long though. 10 minutes later, Aubameyang found Raheem Sterling. He got a shot away in the middle of the area, slotting it into the bottom right-hand corner. Before the half-an-hour mark, it was 2-1 to Chelsea. Debutant Denis Zakaria picking it up from a cross from Mason Mount. His effort squirming underneath the boot of Moharami before crossing the line. Half-time, it is Chelsea 2, Dinamo Zagreb 1. It was the Croats that took the lead after 6 minutes. A cross hitting the back of Azpilicueta's head, falling to Bruno Petkovic, who planted his header into the middle of the goal. They weren't ahead for long though. 10 minutes later, Aubameyang found Raheem Sterling. He got a shot away in the middle of the area, slotting it into the bottom right-hand corner. Before the half-an-hour mark, it was 2-1 to Chelsea. Debutant Denis Zakaria picking it up from a cross from Mason Mount. His effort squirming underneath the boot of Moharami before crossing the line. Half-time, it is Chelsea 2, Dinamo Zagreb 1. It was the Croats that took the lead after 6 minutes. A cross hitting the back of Azpilicueta's head, falling to Bruno Petkovic, who planted his header into the middle of the goal. They weren't ahead for long though. 10 minutes later, Aubameyang found Raheem Sterling. He got a shot away in the middle of the area, slotting it into the bottom right-hand corner. Before the half-an-hour mark, it was 2-1 to Chelsea. Debutant Denis Zakaria picking it up from a cross from Mason Mount. His effort squirming underneath the boot of Moharami before crossing the line. Half-time, it is Chelsea 2, Dinamo Zagreb 1. It was the Croats that took the lead after 6 minutes. A cross hitting the back of Azpilicueta's head, falling to Bruno Petkovic, who planted his header into the middle of the goal. They weren't ahead for long though. 10 minutes later, Aubameyang found Raheem Sterling. He got a shot away in the middle of the area, slotting it into the bottom right-hand corner. Before the half-an-hour mark, it was 2-1 to Chelsea. Debutant Denis Zakaria picking it up from a cross from Mason Mount. His effort squirming underneath the boot of Moharami before crossing the line. Half-time, it is Chelsea 2, Dinamo Zagreb 1. It was the Croats that took the lead after 6 minutes. A cross hitting the back of Azpilicueta's head, falling to Bruno Petkovic, who planted his header into the middle of the goal. They weren't ahead for long though. 10 minutes later, Aubameyang found Raheem Sterling. He got a shot away in the middle of the area, slotting it into the bottom right-hand corner. Before the half-an-hour mark, it was 2-1 to Chelsea. Debutant Denis Zakaria picking it up from a cross from Mason Mount. His effort squirming underneath the boot of Moharami before crossing the line. Half-time, it is Chelsea 2, Dinamo Zagreb 1. It was the Croats that took the lead after 6 minutes. A cross hitting the back of Azpilicueta's head, falling to Bruno Petkovic, who planted his header into the middle of the goal. They weren't ahead for long though. 10 minutes later, Aubameyang found Raheem Sterling. He got a shot away in the middle of the area, slotting it into the bottom right-hand corner. Before the half-an-hour mark, it was 2-1 to Chelsea. Debutant Denis Zakaria picking it up from a cross from Mason Mount. His effort squirming underneath the boot of Moharami before crossing the line. Half-time, it is Chelsea 2, Dinamo Zagreb 1. It was the Croats that took the lead after 6 minutes. A cross hitting the back of Azpilicueta's head, falling to Bruno Petkovic, who planted his header into the middle of the goal. They weren't ahead for long though. 10 minutes later, Aubameyang found Raheem Sterling. He got a shot away in the middle of the area, slotting it into the bottom right-hand corner. Before the half-an-hour mark, it was 2-1 to Chelsea. Debutant Denis Zakaria picking it up from a cross from Mason Mount. His effort squirming underneath the boot of Moharami before crossing the line. Half-time, it is Chelsea 2, Dinamo Zagreb 1. It was the Croats that took the lead after 6 minutes. A cross hitting the back of Azpilicueta's head, falling to Bruno Petkovic, who planted his header into the middle of the goal. They weren't ahead for long though. 10 minutes later, Aubameyang found Raheem Sterling. He got a shot away in the middle of the area, slotting it into the bottom right-hand corner. Before the half-an-hour mark, it was 2-1 to Chelsea. Debutant Denis Zakaria picking it up from a cross from Mason Mount. His effort squirming underneath the boot of Moharami before crossing the line. Half-time, it is Chelsea 2, Dinamo Zagreb 1. It was the Croats that took the lead after 6 minutes. A cross hitting the back of Azpilicueta's head, falling to Bruno Petkovic, who planted his header into the middle of the goal. They weren't ahead for long though. 10 minutes later, Aubameyang found Raheem Sterling. He got a shot away in the middle of the area, slotting it into the bottom right-hand corner. Before the half-an-hour mark, it was 2-1 to Chelsea. Debutant Denis Zakaria picking it up from a cross from Mason Mount. His effort squirming underneath the boot of Moharami before crossing the line. Half-time, it is Chelsea 2, Dinamo Zagreb 1. It was the Croats that took the lead after 6 minutes. A cross hitting the back of Azpilicueta's head, falling to Bruno Petkovic, who planted his header into the middle of the goal. They weren't ahead for long though. 10 minutes later, Aubameyang found Raheem Sterling. He got a shot away in the middle of the area, slotting it into the bottom right-hand corner. Before the half-an-hour mark, it was 2-1 to Chelsea. Debutant Denis Zakaria picking it up from a cross from Mason Mount. His effort squirming underneath the boot of Moharami before crossing the line. Half-time, it is Chelsea 2, Dinamo Zagreb 1. It was the Croats that took the lead after 6 minutes. A cross hitting the back of Azpilicueta's head, falling to Bruno Petkovic, who planted his header into the middle of the goal. They weren't ahead for long though. 10 minutes later, Aubameyang found Raheem Sterling. He got a shot away in the middle of the area, slotting it into the bottom right-hand corner. Before the half-an-hour mark, it was 2-1 to Chelsea. Debutant Denis Zakaria picking it up from a cross from Mason Mount. His effort squirming underneath the boot of Moharami before crossing the line. Half-time, it is Chelsea 2, Dinamo Zagreb 1. It was the Croats that took the lead after 6 minutes. A cross hitting the back of Azpilicueta's head, falling to Bruno Petkovic, who planted his header into the middle of the goal. They weren't ahead for long though. 10 minutes later, Aubameyang found Raheem Sterling. He got a shot away in the middle of the area, slotting it into the bottom right-hand corner. Before the half-an-hour mark, it was 2-1 to Chelsea. Debutant Denis Zakaria picking it up from a cross from Mason Mount. His effort squirming underneath the boot of Moharami before crossing the line. Half-time, it is Chelsea 2, Dinamo Zagreb 1. It was the Croats that took the lead after 6 minutes. A cross hitting the back of Azpilicueta's head, falling to Bruno Petkovic, who planted his header into the middle of the goal. They weren't ahead for long though. 10 minutes later, Aubameyang found Raheem Sterling. He got a shot away in the middle of the area, slotting it into the bottom right-hand corner. Before the half-an-hour mark, it was 2-1 to Chelsea. Debutant Denis Zakaria picking it up from a cross from Mason Mount. His effort squirming underneath the boot of Moharami before crossing the line. Half-time, it is Chelsea 2, Dinamo Zagreb 1. It was the Croats that took the lead after 6 minutes. A cross hitting the back of Azpilicueta's head, falling to Bruno Petkovic, who planted his header into the middle of the goal. They weren't ahead for long though. 10 minutes later, Aubameyang found Raheem Sterling. He got a shot away in the middle of the area, slotting it into the bottom right-hand corner. Before the half-an-hour mark, it was 2-1 to Chelsea. Debutant Denis Zakaria picking it up from a cross from Mason Mount. His effort squirming underneath the boot of Moharami before crossing the line. Half-time, it is Chelsea 2, Dinamo Zagreb 1. It was the Croats that took the lead after 6 minutes. A cross hitting the back of Azpilicueta's head, falling to Bruno Petkovic, who planted his header into the middle of the goal. They weren't ahead for long though. 10 minutes later, Aubameyang found Raheem Sterling. He got a shot away in the middle of the area, slotting it into the bottom right-hand corner. Before the half-an-hour mark, it was 2-1 to Chelsea. Debutant Denis Zakaria picking it up from a cross from Mason Mount. His effort squirming underneath the boot of Moharami before crossing the line. Half-time, it is Chelsea 2, Dinamo Zagreb 1. It was the Croats that took the lead after 6 minutes. A cross hitting the back of Azpilicueta's head, falling to Bruno Petkovic, who planted his header into the middle of the goal. They weren't ahead for long though. 10 minutes later, Aubameyang found Raheem Sterling. He got a shot away in the middle of the area, slotting it into the bottom right-hand corner. Before the half-an-hour mark, it was 2-1 to Chelsea. Debutant Denis Zakaria picking it up from a cross from Mason Mount. His effort squirming underneath the boot of Moharami before crossing the line. Half-time, it is Chelsea 2, Dinamo Zagreb 1. It was the Croats that took the lead after 6 minutes. A cross hitting the back of Azpilicueta's head, falling to Bruno Petkovic, who planted his header into the middle of the goal. They weren't ahead for long though. 10 minutes later, Aubameyang found Raheem Sterling. He got a shot away in the middle of the area, slotting it into the bottom right-hand corner. Before the half-an-hour mark, it was 2-1 to Chelsea. Debutant Denis Zakaria picking it up from a cross from Mason Mount. His effort squirming underneath the boot of Moharami before crossing the line. Half-time, it is Chelsea 2, Dinamo Zagreb 1. It was the Croats that took the lead after 6 minutes. A cross hitting the back of Azpilicueta's head, falling to Bruno Petkovic, who planted his header into the middle of the goal. They weren't ahead for long though. 10 minutes later, Aubameyang found Raheem Sterling. He got a shot away. Well, we'll leave that there because we're back underway for the second half of this Champions League encounter between Chelsea and Dinamo Zagreb. 2-1 to the Blues after the first period of 45 minutes, despite them going behind after only 6. Zagreb will got to try and push in their second half if they're going to have any hope of qualifying for Europa League football. At the moment, AC Milan are doing their job for them. They're beating Salzburg by 1-0. Zagreb will have to score twice and not concede against this Chelsea side if they are going to still have European football come the turn of the year. It's myself, William Maxwell, and Ben White taking you through this one. Doesn't look like there's been any changes at the half-time interval. Is that a surprise to you, Ben, or not?
Well, for which team? I suppose maybe in terms of Chelsea. I mean, it was a very good performance after taking the 1-0 deficit. But we saw Breuer warming up. Maybe he'll get run out amongst other players. As for Dinamo, I mean, they show that they're still in this game, and I hope that going 2-1 down doesn't leave them disheartened, because it doesn't take too much. I mean, of course they need 2 goals, but they've shown they're certainly capable of going forward. I mean, they've got their big attackers already lining up with Orsic and Petkovic, and you assume they wouldn't be changed just yet. Whether they would make maybe a change at the back and go 4 at the back and bring another attacker in, because they do need 2 goals. I don't know, but I'm sure the subs will come eventually, but not just yet.
No, so as Ademi looks to bring this ball forward for Zagreb, we'll just run you through the lineups once again. So for Chelsea, it's Mendy in goal, Chilwell, Koulibaly, Chalobah and Azpilicueta in the defence, Jorginho and Zakaria, the holding midfielders with Sterling and Mount playing behind Havertz and Aubameyang up top. For Dinamo, it's Livakovic in goal, Listovski, Šutalo and Peric, the back 3, Misic, the holding midfielder, Mohorami, Ivanusek, Ademi and Lubicic, the midfield 4, Petkovic and Orsic are up top for Zagreb. In regards to yellow cards, Misic for Zagreb and Koulibaly for Chelsea are both currently booked as Aubameyang puts ball into the area, intending for Sterling, who wanted to try and get it on the volley. Was taken off his head though by second goal of the night. So still Milan looking to confirm second place there. Looks all but a certainty for them now. So Zagreb, it's pretty much all in their hands, but it's going to be a very tall order for them to, as you mentioned earlier in the first half, Ben, get their first away win in a tournament since the turn of the millennia. Here's Chalobah down the line for Zakaria. Great quick feet by the Swiss, but he runs into a mixture of Sterling and Lubicic. Lubicic then plays it down the line, intercepted by Zakaria, who then recycles possession well to find Havertz. Mount over towards Chilwell on the slide, misses out, and now Mohorami can look to try and bring this ball further up the field. Twists, turns, held up by Mount, plays it down the line well. That's wonderful play by the Zagreb number 2, and now Ademi can look to break forward. Has Ivanusek to his left. Here is Ivanusek. Has Orsic in support, as does Petkovic. He might go for goal. Ivanusek does. Takes a big deflection, which could have easily taken it towards goal. Instead, it's taken it out for a corner, and we see the Zagreb fans fully behind their players and trying to get some more energy from them.
It's been really positive in the opening 3 minutes. It's not the first time they've tried to come forward in this second half, and you said it yourself, the deflection could have gone anywhere, because Mendy was wrong-footed after that nick of the Chelsea defence, but it's a chance from the corner, which is definitely going to whip in to a number of players in the box.
Orsic with a delivery towards the back post. Petkovic's header, good save by Mendy, getting down low to his left-hand side. I think Petkovic might have been down in the area after that header. It might not be though, it could easily be, I think it might be Šutalo that's down. Well, Šutalo actually won the header. It was a lovely effort, and I've got to say, it's good goalkeeping by Edouard Mendy.
It is, especially because it bounces just before him as well, so because it could bounce at any height, and he's got to read it at the very last second. Šutalo beats both Chalobah and Koulibaly to get to the ball. It's a strong header, keeps it down, so it's always going to test Mendy. He does well, because always in examples like that, it's not just about saving it, but parrying it away from danger, and he did just that, Mendy.
Petkovic is held up by Zakaria. A few quick feet before finding the overlap in Misic. That's a horror cross by Misic. He's hit that with the laces, and it's flowed comfortably out for a goal kick. A real waste of a promising attack from Zagreb, and it's almost a repeat of the first half in the sense that the Croats have started this half very brightly on the front foot, but what let them down in the first half is they didn't continue with that momentum. They didn't keep pressing, and eventually they sat back, allowed the pressure, and eventually conceded an equaliser and then went behind. So maybe the fact they're behind now and know they're chasing the game and it's still within their grasp, they will press for prolonged periods of this half.
Oh, you'd imagine so, and the intentions are clear after only 5 minutes in the second half, because it's a great header from Šutalo in the end. I mean, it's sort of in the same period, like you said, where Petkovic found the opener. So maybe they're going to try and just attack in bursts and try and surprise Chelsea. It's been very promising from Ante Šašic's side in the second half, because they're showing that they're certainly not down and out at the moment. They would need 2 goals, especially when they're away against Chelsea, the tall order. But they're not going to stop making chances, and making good chances like that one from the corner.
As Lubicic looks to have fouled Azpilicueta. Looks like it'll be a free kick for Chelsea midway inside the Zagreb half. He tried to get away from the Chelsea captain. I mean, it's a slight pull on the shirt, nothing else, but free kick taken quickly. Havertz finds Sterling. His cross is blocked by Peric. It will be a corner kick this time for Chelsea, allowing some of their bigger boys to go forward. The likes of Koulibaly, Chalobah, probably Zakaria will be one of the other main men to aim for. He's got a bit of height on him. Azpilicueta, Havertz, Aubameyang, Sterling all currently in the area. Chilwell will take this. Sterling looks to actually move away from the 18-yard box now. Has to be a good delivery. And you just think a third goal might be enough to kill this game. That's definitely not on the quadrant from Chilwell. There's a flicker that comes in from Chalobah, diverted away by Miric. And now an opportunity for Moharami to break forward. It's a heavy touch, and then Zakaria eases onto it. Doesn't look like there's going to be a free kick, although it looked for all the world that Mounted found his man. But here's Aubameyang to break forward. A few step overs. He gets a shot away. It's a decent effort. Oh, it's off the crossbar. Wonderful effort by the Chelsea striker. A few step overs, trying to curl it into the top left-hand top hand corner, I should say. I'm not sure if it took a deflection. Seeing a replay here, doesn't look like it did. Oh, it's a wonderful effort though by the striker.
It's almost like a prime position of Aubameyang, isn't it? He's sort of on that left forward position. He's coming inside and he's just trying to bend it into the far corner. I think he scored so many goals like that, especially in an Arsenal shirt. He's just fed in Kai Havertz. He's through on goal. He pulls the trigger. In the end, is blocked brilliantly by Misic. Because had he not been there, it could have been 3-1 and game over. It's a good chance for Havertz. But yeah, just going back to that Aubameyang opportunity, he creates it all by himself. It's a wonderful effort on the outside of the box. Just a bit too much height on it. Crashes off the crossbar. But well, I just said after a promising start from Dinamo, maybe that's just sort of woken Chelsea up after that 15-minute break at half-time, and they're coming flying forward now.
Yes, they are. So Sterling will look to take this corner kick from the opposite side. Looks to play an in-swinger towards the near post, headed away by Peric. Further out in the end by Misic as well. So it'll be a throw-in for Chelsea just inside the Zagreb half, as looks like Graham Potter watches on. I'm sure he's going to be happy with what he's seen from his side and the response in particular. And maybe he'll have a few concerns with the fact that both his sides, or both the halves in this game, his side has started slowly and it's taken maybe 5 minutes or so for them to actually wake up.
Yeah, I think you're right, Rob. And then I'm just looking, of course, they haven't had a clean sheet now for 4 consecutive games in all competitions. He's just going to get another card out here. It's going to be for the number 7 Ivanišek of Dinamo. He was just tugging the shirt of Denis Zakaria, the Swiss international, had just got past Ivanišek, so he was resorted really into just bringing him down. But he'll definitely be, it's always a positive when you come from behind. One goal in each of the last 4 matches now. Is that a concern? I know we were saying in the first half about the change between the back 3 and sort of back 4. Maybe no one is cemented, apart from Thiago Silva perhaps, of that sort of centre-back pairing. So that's one thing to highlight for Graham Potter in the matches going forward, but still plenty of positives for him.
Ball's a lovely pass by Aubameyang to find Chilwell, who gets away from Moharami outside the big pass, trying to find Sterling. Just a big box, and Aubameyang on the half volley. Well, that's a rather hopeful effort by the Chelsea. In the end, it went quite comfortably over and wide in the end. City have equalised against Sevilla. That's Manchester City, of course, and it's the youngster Rico Lewis who has got on the score sheet. What a moment that is for the Manchester City young defender, as Koulibaly's header is picked up by Ljubicic. He'll get away from Sterling, finding Petkovic. Zagreb will try and make their way further up the field now. Ivanišek, overlap in Ristovski, he tries to get across him, blocks by Aubameyang, header forward by Moharami. Koulibaly's there again, scrums away from Havertz, now with Peric, finding Sutsalo. Back with Peric again. Zagreb having a period of prolonged possession. Sutsalo finding Ivanišek, breaking forward. Now with Petkovic, has the overlap in Ljubicic. Ljubicic across the field towards Ivanišek. And now effort comes in from Orsic, just a big deflection, I think, out for a corner kick. Although it might go out for a goal kick. I'm not entirely sure what the decision is from the referee. Seeing a replay here. I'm not sure if that did actually take a deflection from Mislav Orsic. It felt him kindly. Got to say, Koulibaly shuts down the angle quickly. It makes it nigh impossible for Orsic to do anything with it.
Yeah, Orsic, he just opens his body up and opens his leg, and when you're doing that, it's always going to sort of swing away from goal. And being from outside the area, it's going to take something special, and it just goes past the wrong side of the post for him. Mendy did dive, but I think he knew that it was going to go wide. But it's just it was a good as you said, it was prolonged possession from Dinamo, and they started out from the back with Peric and Sutalo. In the end, through with Vanjicic, Lubicic, everyone was getting involved really in the Dinamo attack. So it's quite fluid in the final third. They wanted to stick up that side of the pitch. They'll definitely come again. I think it's been a very exciting opening 11 minutes in this half, and Dinamo certainly don't look beaten.
Sterling finds Aubameyang, moving it towards Cesar Azpilicueta. Jorginho back towards Azpilicueta, crosses the area, header from Havertz, aiming towards the far right hand side. A pretty central effort though from the German midfielder, and in the end that's a comfortable save for Livakovic. He wasn't really being pressurised till very late on by the defender in Josip Schutzalo, but in the end it's a comfortable save for Livakovic.
It is, yeah. I think you look at the team sheet, Havertz is probably one of the tallest players in the Chelsea lineup, so he's always been capable of getting his head to the ball. He's just trying to direct it to the far post, too central in the end. It's a comfortable save for Livakovic. It's a chance for Dinamo to come forward again. Orsic finding Misic in acres of space. He's got Mahrami on the right hand side, feeds in Rostovski. It just about evades the North Macedonian and is cleared by Koulibaly. But it's just another example of Dinamo finding quite a bit of space when they come forward.
As there's a collision between Havertz and Schutzalo. I think Havertz may have collided with the advertising hoardings, but as he's off the field, I don't think play will stop, but they're going to wait for him to enter the field again. Mahrami with a throw, finding Misic. AC Milan now 3-0 up on Salzburg, and it's Giroud that's got the third. It was Krunic that got the second actually after a Giroud assist, so he's having quite the game, the former Arsenal and Chelsea striker. Always been a player that I don't think has ever got the respect that he's deserved based on his career.
I totally agree. I think he's a remarkable striker, and I suppose going to AC Milan, it was always going to work, just because it seems in Serie A, sort of strikers in the twilight era of their career, it just gives them a lease of life. I mean, you're looking at Luca Toni's a great example of that. I think he finished top scorer once at the age of 37 or 38 for Verona, which was quite remarkable. And Giroud at 36, he's getting plenty of goals. Dinamo coming forward here. I'll just break off from that, Will.
Yeah, Lubicic breaking forward on the edge of the area. He gets a shot away, easily blocked by Koulibaly. Falls to Misic once again, who pokes it back towards Sutalo. Now with Bruno Petkovic, the striker, on the left-hand side of the field, comes inwards. Again, goes back this time towards Josip Schutzalo. Stovski, not much in the way of support ahead of him, so he's forced to go backwards once again. Benfica are now 2-1 up away from home against Maccabi Haifa, winning on confirmation of the goal scorer there, but that does mean, as it stands, Maccabi Haifa will be behind Juventus by a point, not just goal difference, as Mislav Orsic was unable to find Petkovic there in the build-up. It was a nice run down the left-hand side by Orsic, got away from Azpilicueta despite the best attempts from the Chelsea captain, and it looks like Petkovic was offside anyway, so it wouldn't have counted, but it's another relatively decent opportunity there.
They're coming down, it's more down the left side. I know that Mahrami obviously got the ball in for the opener, but we're seeing Lubicic getting involved quite a lot in this sort of left wing-back position. He's bombing down the flank, and he's got plenty of pace ahead of him with Orsic as well, who, yeah, as you said, he broke off of Cesar Azpilicueta, caught between two minds maybe, given that the pass was too delayed. Petkovic was already offside. Should he have maybe pulled the trigger? There were defenders in the way, but I think the game is really stretched at the moment. Dinamo know they've got to sort of commit players forward, and as a result it will give Chelsea a chance to come forward, as Chilwell originally thought maybe he'd just try and pull it into the danger area. It looks like he pulled the trigger in the end from a very tight angle, crashing into the side netting. But it is end-to-end stuff at the moment, isn't it, Will?
Yes, it really is. I mean, yes, it's a tight angle, but he is more than adept of scoring goals. Ben Chilwell, it's probably not the best angle for him there, so not the greatest of decision-making by the former Leicester man. Just saw pictures of Conor Gallagher getting stripped and ready to come on. So it might not be too long before we see him enter the fray. As Mount loses out to Vanjicic. It's a good pass though to find Rostovski. Now with Petkovic, will get away from Koulibaly, then spreads it towards the left-hand side in Orsic. Orsic plays a 1-2 with Ademi. Orsic tries to get away from Jorginho, now with Lubicic. Finding Orsic once again. His pass is poor, easily cut out by Zakaria, who immediately looks to start a new attack, and finding Aubameyang, who tries to break away, finds Sterling. Lovely 1-2. Aubameyang, when he get on the end of it, no, doesn't have the turn of pace that maybe he once did in his younger years. Nice idea from Sterling, just maybe slightly overhit, but he's one possession back here after Chilwell with good work. Chilwell ball to the area, looking for Aubameyang, slightly too far ahead of him, and Livakovic leaves it well. Yes, another goal kick for Zagreb.
It's positive again from Chelsea, though. Just going back to that pass from Sterling, I just wonder if he made the wrong decision, because Kai Havertz was maybe in a bit more space on the right-hand side, and it didn't, sort of that pass wouldn't have required a more pinpoint sort of direction towards Havertz, and he would have been through on goal, but it wasn't the best of decisions made by Sterling, but still plenty of numbers coming forward, and it's sort of a numerical, well, I'll break off from that because Jorginho just fed into Mason Mount, who tries to pull the trigger. Soutalo gets in the way, last-ditch defending from the Dinamo defence again. What I was going to say before that strike was that sort of Chelsea's numbers and Dinamo's numbers when Chelsea are attacking are almost level, because Dinamo have to commit men forward. Chelsea are just pouncing in those sort of pockets of space that are left empty.
Yes, Mason Mount there with a decent opportunity, was well defended in the end by Soutalo, getting over to cut down the angle. So Chilwell will take this corner kick. Havertz, Chalobah, Koulibaly, Azpilicueta all in the area to aim for in Chelsea blue. Chilwell with a delivery, won't really find Chalobah. I think it maybe come off a mixture of his head and his shoulder, was unable to get his effort on target. So there will be a goal kick and an opportunity for 3 changes to be made by Chelsea. First is Conor Gallagher coming onto the field of play in replace of Kai Havertz. So maybe a change in formation in store there. Looks like Armando Broja and Thiago Silva are both ready to come on as well. So we're just waiting to find out exactly who it is that they are going to come on for. As Havertz slowly makes his way over towards the touchline. Gets a shake of the hand as well. Looks like Kalidou Koulibaly has run his race. He's going to be brought off, and Thiago Silva is going to come on, and it's Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang who is going to be replaced by Armando Broja. So a bit of a like-for-like swap there. What are your thoughts on those changes, Ben?
Well, it certainly means a change in formation. Well, perhaps, because maybe Mount will sort of stay on that right, Sterling left, Broja in the middle, perhaps. A frustrating game, perhaps, with Kai Havertz. He didn't see a lot of the ball, really. Aubameyang was maybe the more of the two strikers to see a bit more action. It does look like Mount is playing a bit more of an advanced role. Sterling's on the right at the moment. There's a chance for Conor Gallagher to get a run out, and Broja as well, in fact. I've said about how there's a few defenders that are auditioning to be in the sort of starting 11 of Graham Potter. Certainly Thiago Silva's the one you'd imagine to always feature. I think he's going to get a run out in the last half an hour or so before the match on the weekend against Arsenal.
Yes, as the long pass sent by the Zagreb defence is picked up by Thiago Silva, the veteran. Whilst he was warming up a few moments ago, whilst it was attacked for Zagreb, he was barking orders at his defenders to get into a better defensive position. Thiago Silva is a eternal professional, and even at his age at the moment, he's still got good legs in him, still able to compete in this Premier League. How much longer do you think Chelsea will be able to keep hold of his services in his waning years?
Well, he's still at a very high level of performances, though, really, isn't he? He's at an age of 38 now. I mean, we really just mentioned before about examples like intensity and stuff. I think that's a bit of nonsense, because when you're in the big leagues, there's always going to be high pace and a lot of action. Perhaps a little bit more in the Premier League, and even still at 38, Thiago Silva just looks still so accomplished. I know that he had a few errors in that game against Brighton, but there was that clearance off the line in the first few minutes that just showed that he's still got that little bit of pace and defensive nous. He's got plenty of defensive nous, but just the leadership qualities as well for Chelsea. Maybe even as he sort of heads towards the latter stages of his Chelsea career. I'm sure he'll still have a huge influence on the training ground and on the sidelines, but what a remarkable player regardless.
Yeah, he's a fantastic player, and I think he's probably one of the people that, from a neutral perspective, we're pretty happy to see him be part of a squad that won the Champions League, of course, with Chelsea after failing to do so with Paris Saint-Germain and AC Milan in his earlier career. Wonderful defender, Thiago Silva, as Chalobah comes in front of Orsic to hook the ball away from danger for a throw-in. Looks like Zagreb are also shaping up to make a few changes themselves. Can't quite exactly see the number of who it is that's getting ready to come on. I think it might be Peter Bokai, but I could well be wrong. Could easily be Mahir Emreli as well, as Dino Peric will spread it towards Shutalo now. 67 minutes on the clock, listening to unofficial off-tube studio commentary. Chelsea 2, Zagreb 1, the current score is Pekovic finds Moharami, not much in the way of support. Brought down by by Mason Mount, I should say. Lovely skill by Ristovski. Now with Ademi to Misic. Ademi goes back once again towards Utalo. Good prolonged spell of possession this for Zagreb. Peric doesn't have much in the way of movement, so has to spread it back to his centre-back partner. Now with Josip Misic once again, away from Conor Gallagher. Lubicic moving it back deep inside their own half at the moment, Zagreb, and Chelsea trying to press from the front, but not really getting too close to a man in white. And Zagreb, they need to get further up the field. They need to start throwing bodies forward. It doesn't matter how much they lose by if they end up losing this game. They need the victory. Levakovic with the long ball, brought down well by Ristovski, then he's bundled over by Armando Broja. That will be a free kick for Dinamo. To be made, and Zakaria is also down at the moment for Chelsea as well. I think he might be indicating that he won't be able to continue, so that might be another change that has to be made in a moment's time. So it is Mahir Emreli who's coming on, and it's Stefan Ristovski who is going to make way. So an attacking change there, Ben.
Yeah, and I think that probably does bring in a back four. You'd imagine that Moharami and Lubicic will just go a bit further back, but they'll still certainly bomb down both wings. So yeah, definitely an attacking change for Dinamo, but could likely be an enforced change for Chelsea here, and one that, well, anyone of a Chelsea persuasion will be a bit gutted by, really, because it is Denis Zakaria who's had such a remarkable game, getting his first goal on his debut, and his debut could end prematurely as well. He's still down with the physios catering him. He is holding the back of his thigh. I do worry if it is a pull of a hamstring or something. The signal from the physio suggests quite clearly that he's going to be subbed off. The referee's telling him to go to the nearest exit, as you will, the closest touchline. Looks like Zakaria's night is over, which is a shame, really, because he's played so well that you'd assume he would have, had he not got injured. We don't know how serious it is, but given his performance, you'd assume that he would appear in at least some of the 3 matches to come before the World Cup break. Let's just hope for his sake that it's a serious injury.
Yes, and hope that he will still be able to appear in the World Cup if he does get a little bit of fitness, and even if he's picked at all. The fact he may have actually got a game might help his cause, no doubt. And he is going to be replaced by Ruben Loftus-Cheek by the looks of things, so very much a like-for-like substitution there. Just a couple other goals to tell you about. Benfica 3-1 up now against Maccabi Haifa. Alejandro Grimaldo getting the goal there. PSG have scored a second that's currently being reviewed by VAR for a possible offside. It was Nuno Mendes that maybe has given PSG the lead there, which would still be okay for Juventus, as Maccabi Haifa are losing at home to Benfica. But we're way past the halfway point of this second half. It is Chelsea 2, Dinamo Zagreb 1. With Ben White to take you through to full time.
Will, and although there's not been any extra goals in the second half, still 2-1 to Chelsea. We've seen plenty of action for both sides. Dinamo had such an explosive start to the second half. They could easily have found an equaliser from a corner. Chelsea, as a result of Dinamo needing to press forward and find an equaliser and perhaps a third goal, it's given Chelsea sort of opportunity to pounce on the counter, which could so nearly have sealed off a victory, with Aubameyang crashing a strike to the crossbar. It will be a free kick to Chelsea. 72 minutes gone. Both sides, of course, have made plenty of substitutions. Chelsea to make an enforced one recently with Dennis Zakaria to go off. Flurry really of injuries. Two players that would likely appear at the World Cup for their respective nations. Armando Broja is in the box. He tries to fizz it into the 6-yard area, and in the end, Shutalo does well to deal with that. It will be a Chelsea corner, which looked like Ben Chilwell was going to move to that one to swing it in. I don't imagine that Chelsea will be in too much of a rush to take this one. Ben Chilwell just about putting the ball down into the quadrant. Just wait as the referee's having a word with players inside the area. It's raised by Ben Chilwell, looks to swing it into the near post, and it's a free header for one of the substitutes, Thiago Silva. He was in acres of space, about 5 yards out, and he looks up to the skies in frustration. He can only be frustrated at himself. Perhaps there was a bit too much height on it. He's reaching as Thiago Silva, given his quality. At least he's probably his own harshest critic, isn't he, Will? So he'll always be expected to find the target, at least on that one. It's another good chance for Chelsea to just wrap this game up.
Yeah, they're desperately looking for that third goal to put this game to bed and realistically seal the 3 points. It was a lovely delivery. Silva got away from his marker. Maybe an element of a slight push by Misic in the build-up, which might put off the Brazilian defender, but player of his quality from that sort of range should be hitting the target.
A bit of streetwise football from the Dinamo defence just to put off the Brazilian international. Conor Gallagher coming forward, a 1-2 with Raheem Sterling is cut out well by Mahrami. Tries to get the ball further forward. It's shepherded out brilliantly in the end by Ben Chilwell. And as we just mentioned before, that opportunity for Chelsea, I mean, if Zakaria is injured, it's just another example of an international player receiving an injury right before the World Cup tournament. Chelsea going to earn a free kick just outside of Dinamo's area. But yeah, Switzerland's first game is in just 3 weeks' time. It's maybe a race against time for Zakaria to make that one. But you're looking at other teams. Dybala's, of course, going to be missing for Argentina. There's plenty elsewhere. It's the risk of that Winter World Cup, I suppose. But, well, even still, there's plenty of games before the World Cup does take place. Benfica have scored a fourth against Maccabi Haifa. It's Rafa Silva to have surely wrapped up the 3 points now for Benfica. But yeah, with the World Cup only around the corner, do you think there's some players are concerned and maybe restricting their own performances at club level just to avoid that chance of them missing out on the World Cup?
I think at this stage of the season, with where the World Cup is, there's every chance it's the case as the free kick came in. It's a wonderful save by Livakovic, tipping it over the crossbar from Mount. That at least that idea in the back of their mind. Whether or not they actually go out about doing that, who knows? I mean, it would not surprise me. Although these players are, at the end of the day, they're professionals. They're wanting to get the 3 points for their club, and they might actually care more about club than country. But there's always, it might be a case that whenever they have the ball, they're obviously going to run as fast as possible and do what they can to help their side. But it might be a case from the defensive side of things, they might just shirk away from the tackle here and there.
Fantastic free kick from Mason Mount into that postage stamp area. And on the topic of the World Cup, I'm sure he'll be wanting to get into Gareth Southgate's starting 11. The ball's fizzed in to the near post. Bruno Bekovic just about deals with it. Cheek goes down under the challenge of the Dinamo goal scorer. Referee sees nothing doing. Bekovic gives it away, and Chelsea can come forward again. Loftus-Cheek into Conor Gallagher. To Jorginho now. Everyone's out of the area now, but Chelsea will come forward yet again. Ben Chilwell finding a bit of space on the left flank. He sees Mason Mount make the overlap. He fizzes it in, looking for Armando Broja. Cleared again by Dinamo, and they'll earn a free kick. It's a smart fall to the ground from Petkovic. A little shove from Thiago Silva was all that was needed to VAR check on this one. Petkovic's reaction says it all. He sees nothing from well, no contact at all from Ruben Loftus-Cheek. It's almost if he went down just to convince the referee. But he just had to be careful there, because it was a heavy touch from Petkovic and it could easily have been a lot worse for him.
Yes, it really, really could have, and it looks like there was just the briefest of VAR checks there. It looks like play can now continue. It didn't look like there was much in it on that tackle on Ruben Loftus-Cheek anyway, so I think that the right decision has prevailed on that time of asking. It's still 2-1. Zagreb still do have a chance of pulling a goal back here, but they need to get the area of play inside the Chelsea half. At the moment, they're very much camped inside their own.
Still 2-1 here, and it is 2-1 to PSG. Seems as if VAR check for Nuno Mendes' goal is a legal one. The Portuguese fullback does get his name on the score sheet. It's 2-1 as well to Manchester City. They have completed the comeback, having been 1-0 down at half-time. It's Julian Alvarez who provided the assist for Nico Lewis for the equaliser. The Argentine has now got himself on the score sheet via a Kevin De Bruyne assist. That's not a shock to many, really, is it? Well, the amount of assists that De Bruyne is racking up really is remarkable in this campaign, in only the early stages of the season. Raheem Sterling looking to find his compatriot Mason Mount again. The Dinamo defence deals with it well. For the most part, they've looked quite solid. I know Chelsea have had quite a few strikes on goal, but there's been pressure from Chelsea and just little mistakes in those 2 goals conceded. They've looked rather solid otherwise, haven't they?
Yeah, I mean, the shots that Chelsea have had have not really tested the Zagreb goalkeeper or the defence on the majority of the occasion. Whenever Chelsea are getting into dangerous areas, just now with the cross being put in, was well dealt with by Peric at the near post. It was very much a case of the 2 goals being scored for Chelsea coming via defensive errors, or just with the defence not doing what they should have done in the right areas of the field. So if they were able to sort of get those out the game, they probably would still be winning.
Corner kick again for Chelsea, in on this near side, and in swinger will be taken by Ben Chilwell. Still plenty of players back for Chelsea. Says Azpilicueta and Mason Mount, 2 of them. It's flicked towards goal by Chalobah. Too wide in the end. It's a good recovery from Thiago Silva to dispossess Pekovic and once again get Chelsea back on the ball in Dinamo's final third. Chalobah in a bit of space goes further wide for Raheem Sterling, and they're just going to slow the pace down on this one. We gave credit to Dinamo's defence. I suppose you can give credit to Chelsea's as well. Whether the storm in the second half, I suppose there was a flurry of chances for Dinamo, and as it stands, they would keep intact that rather impressive 3-year home unbeaten run in the Champions League. Last defeat arriving against Spanish side Valencia in 2019. Still about 15 minutes to go in this one, counting for stoppage time as well. Dinamo, of course, would need 2 goals if they want to at least keep some form of European competition alive. The highest they can finish is 3rd, which would drop them into the Europa League. But as it stands, it will be the Austrian side, Salzburg, to get that one, despite the Austrian outfit being 3-0 down in San Siro to AC Milan. Stefano Pioli's side, they'll be delighted. As opposed to any pressure going into that match has swiftly been wiped away. Guaranteed progression to the round of 16. But regardless of what happens in either game, Chelsea have, of course, confirmed first position in the group. It's been a very exciting Champions League group stage, a very congested one as well, of course, given the Winter World Cup. It's almost as if it's been relentless that we've always had a league game, only a few days later, that continental action. Of course, we've got the League Cup coming up in midweek. I don't really think Chelsea have had more than 3 days, 4 days of a break since August. It's very tolling on on squads like Chelsea for any team that is in a European competition. I mean, of course, they'll get this well-received break of the World Cup, but so many players will appear in the World Cup, so not a lot of rest for the majority of the squad.
No, not at all. They really are just on the bare bones at times at Chelsea. They need to try and keep as many of their players fit as possible. Hopefully Zakaria won't be out for too long before they might have to delve to the under-23s as Gallagher gets a shot away and might take a deflection. I think it did. There will be a corner kick for Chelsea on this near right-hand side. So although maybe it's an awkward position World Cup for the majority of football fans and football teams, considering the injury crisis that Chelsea sort of are on the cusp of, it might be pretty handy for them for this tournament to come now.
Yeah, and I suppose at least Graham Potter has sort of tried to make the most of the squad. He does have, he made 7 changes going into this one following the 4-1 defeat in the Premier League to Brighton and Hove Albion. So there's another corner. Chelsea again on the near side, again will be whipped in by Ben Chilwell, looking for Chalobah. Cleared at the near post by Dinamo. Jorginho nods it out wide to Raheem Sterling. Chilwell's kept his position on the wing, looks again back to Sterling, that first time delivery, looking for plenty of Chelsea players in the box, and Ruben Loftus-Cheek had dived for the header, but there was a touch from either Dinamo or Chelsea player. Could easily have been Thiago Silva to have taken it off the head of his own teammate.
Yeah, it's a dangerous delivery, and I think it looks like it is Shutalo that's got that glancing head onto it. It is, and it's a vital touch to it to take it away from Ruben Loftus-Cheek. Brilliant defending, and the Chelsea midfielder not too far away from getting an opportunity there, but will be another corner though for Chelsea.
The corner, this time an in-swinger from Raheem Sterling, again looking for the first post, but again dealt with that source by Dinamo. To Demi, the side's captain, to clear it out for a throw-in. Not before Ante Šašić and in fact Graham Potter make changes each. Should be 2 for Dinamo Zagreb. It looks like it will be the Chelsea one to happen first. It's Raheem Sterling coming off. He of course wants to get the equaliser in this fixture. He's coming off American international Christian Pulisic. Of course that's Croatian heritage, is he not? And facing up against leaders of the Croatian First Division, and it'll be in fact the goal scorer of Dinamo's goal tonight. Bruno Petkovic is coming off for former even Norwich City striker Josip Drmić. Like for like substitution made for that one. There is another one to be made by Ante Šašić. It's looking as if it will be the defender, midfielder in fact, Arian Ademi. His last action was to clear out that recent corner. Number 31 Marco Bulat comes on for him. Plenty of changes yet again made with a matter of minutes left. We're in the 84th minute now. Chelsea taking the throw in deep inside Dinamo territory. The visitors deal with it well. Ivanisevic can bring it forward, and now there's acres of space for Ljubicic to run a good 50-60 yards into Chelsea territory. Out further wide is Mislav Orsic. Ljubicic is making the run again down the wing, still full of pace. Here's the wing back. Second ball arrives kindly to Orsic. He's put in the corner flag by Azpilicueta. The Chelsea captain does brilliantly to take it out. The Dinamo throwing just another chance to show that the visitors are capable on the counter to spring a few last-minute scares to Chelsea. And there's a chance again with a long throw-in to be deployed by Ljubicic. The Dinamo fans still in full voice, despite the fact that if it was to remain this way, they would be going out of every possible European competition. Gallagher picks up the pieces in the centre of the park, and he finds Pulisic. His first involvement is to feed it into Armando Broja, who's in acres of space. He's up against Shutalo. In the end, it is Shutalo to do the defensive duty. So Broja keeps hold of the ball in the corner, feeds it into Pulisic, who enters the field, penalty area, finds Conor Gallagher, who pulls the trigger. Livakovic does well to spread his body and get in the way of that goal-bound strike. Chilwell again whips it in. Shutalo clears this one into the England full-back. Back with Thiago Silva, and go again. Jorginho into Chalobah. Silva into Ruben Loftus-Cheek, out further wide again to Ben Chilwell. Pulisic offering him services on the left wing. He does find the American, who charges towards the penalty area. Back into Ruben Loftus-Cheek. It's good possession from Chelsea, who are really taking the sting out of eating away the seconds. But of course Dinamo would rather have the ball in their possession. The Croatian side has earned, have committed a free kick, which is going to add to the time that will go away for the visitors. So it's likely to take their time on this one. It looks at it. Well, Conor Gallagher's timed his run rather well. It is Shutalo that's kept him on side. It's from a tight angle. Livakovic needed to make the save, but I think this is good game management in the end from Chelsea, because they're not sort of over-committed to the strike and then giving away the possession. They're happy to just keep it in the final third. And they've just earned a free kick that's sort of eating away about half a minute in this one.
Yeah, they have, and they'll look to try and bide as much time as possible from this free kick as the ball is put potentially into the area. And Thiago Silva's put it wide from inside the 6-yard box. Again, gorgeous delivery into the area by Ben Chilwell, falling to Thiago Silva. I can only imagine he gets put off by Misic ahead of him, who dives underneath the ball. Not sure if he's done it on purpose or not, the Zagreb defender, but Silva can't get his effort on target.
Well, for him at least, I'm sure he'll be hoping. I think he was onside, and his blushes won't be spared by the linesman. It was a glorious opportunity for the substitute to get his name on the score sheet and put to bed would be a Chelsea victory. They will come forward again. Ben Chilwell, left wing, finding Loftus-Cheek. He'll go from left to right where Conor Gallagher's found acres of space. He'll find it further to the Chelsea captain, Azpilicueta, who looked for Armando Broja on the right wing, well intercepted by Lubicic. He brings it forward for Dinamo. Pass results in nothing in the end, and Chelsea back in possession. Broja charged down by Misic, gets past the Croatian defender. Wayward ball out for the Dinamo throw, and it's another concern here for Graham Potter. Cesar Azpilicueta's just with the back of his knee. Some discomfort, a bit of a delay in this one. But, after the injury to Denis Zakaria, I mean, Azpilicueta, at least he's still standing up. He hasn't fallen to the ground yet to sort of bring the physios on. But given already one injury in the game, they certainly won't want another one.
No, and they've already used 5 subs, so they won't be able to change him either if it is the case that he is injured. He's still on the field of play. He's not going to want to go off and leave his side a man down, as Gallagher's brought down by Misic. But it just goes to show that if he is packing injury as per the Azpilicueta here, he is still playing, he is still moving somewhat comfortably. If the injury does get worse over the next minute or so, Zagreb might feel they can attack the left-hand side, and that might be the best option for them to find an unlikely way back into this.
I suppose, especially considering the visiting side, we've seen a lot more action down the left side of the field than the right. So there will be a numerical advantage if Cesar Azpilicueta was to go off injured, but he is carrying on at the moment. Manchester City have scored a third in the second half. It's 3-1 to them now. Riyad Mahrez has his place on the score sheet. So Copenhagen equalised against in fact, that was in the first half, so Dortmund didn't hold on to that one. Exactly. Benfica, it's a high five for them. It's 5-1 in Israel for the Portuguese side. They were already guaranteed qualification to the next round. It's another convincing win for the Lisbon side. A yellow card shown here by Francois Letexier. It will be for the number 2 of Dinamo, Sadek Moharami. Just clipped the heels of Pulisic as he was just getting the afterburners on and trying to charge ahead of the Dinamo defender. In the end, he just had to bring him down for a Chelsea free kick. So Dinamo made the substitution. Chelsea made all 5. It's a chance for Šašić to make his final one. Mislav Orsic has come off for Dario Špikic. So sides using every available possibility of fresh legs in this one. As we're in the 90th minute now. A few seconds before we do find out how many minutes will be added on by the 4th official to before this game does come to a close. A chance for Chelsea to, it's quite some distance, perhaps 30-35 yards out. Good opportunity for them to try and wrap up the game here. Mason Mount and Ben Chilwell over. It looks like it will be Mount to pull the trigger. Looks for the near corner, ending it just past the post. Vakovic had it covered. I'm sure he'll be wanting to get this one underway again pretty quickly.
Yeah, I'm sure he will. It was a decent effort there by Mount. Pace, power, got dip on it as well. Just never looked like it was going to treble Vakovic or get it on target. They're trying to rush things now. Zagreb, time not on their side. Around 5 seconds remaining of the 90 before we find out how much added time there will be. But it looks an almost certainty that their time in the Champions League and in European football is at an end for at least this season, as it looks like it's 4 minutes of added time shown.
4 minutes added on, and we'd said in the first half, I'm sure the frustrations for Ante Šašić will be that his side sort of didn't capitalise on what was a very impressive opening matchday victory against Chelsea in Zagreb. They didn't manage to win either games against AC Milan nor against Salzburg, really, as a result. I suppose in this one, out of all of the games, going away to Chelsea not too long ago, champions of the Champions League, perhaps this was the game where they would account for a defeat rather, and hoping to pick up points elsewhere, but that's the exact problem, that they haven't been able to pick up points in their other games. As a result, as Paul said, looks like the more likely there's only 3 minutes left in this one that the European campaign will come to, at least in their minds, a rather premature end. In the last 3 seasons of European competitions, they have reached some form of a knockout stage, but on this occasion it seems Chelsea in Dinamo's final third. Just taking the sting out of the game is Christian Pulisic. A few short passes between Jorginho and Chilwell. Ruben Loftus-Cheek. Getting further forward to Mason Mount. Pulisic has found himself in space and they've got numbers ahead of him and he feeds it into Conor Gallagher. It's a tap-in for him, but a remarkable save from Livakovic. It's almost as if it was easier to score than not find the net. Glorious opportunity. It was put on a plate really for him by Pulisic. It almost looks as if the rebound could have fallen kindly to Broja, but Lubicic did well to clear it for a throw-in. It's a great opportunity to get third.
Yeah, it's got to be taken by Gallagher. Fantastic ball by Pulisic to find the number 23. Acres of space, 5 yards out. And I think Gallagher's just thinking any touch and it goes into the back of the net. He's not thinking about trying to aim for a corner or put power behind it. It's a good... He just has to let it hit him. Gallagher's got to be scoring for me.
Gallagher's on the ball again, looking to whip it into the area. Instead, he's further wide to Azpilicueta, who seems to have shrugged off that knock a few minutes ago. Strike from range from Ruben Loftus-Cheek. Very unlikely going into the back of the net. Sails high over the bar, and AC Milan have really the cherry on the icing on the top of the cake. Really, it's 4-0 for them at San Siro. Junior Messias has got the fourth, and goodness me, what an evening for Olivier Giroud. 2 goals and 2 assists for the French striker. He's having quite a remarkable season. Of course, champions of Serie A last year with the Rossoneri. Certainly making an account for himself that should be... Well, I'll break from that thought because it looks like it could be another injury for Chelsea. Ben Chilwell has just troubled off the pitch, holding his hamstring as Van Yesech tries to pull the trigger, blocked by Cesar Azpilicueta. Well, first thing I was going to say is that the remarkable form from Olivier Giroud should get him in contention, at least for the French side. Chelsea a bit concerned that Ben Chilwell has just ran off the pitch. It's on the other side of the pitch that Amandi Broja tries to come forward and look for a third. It's dealt well with by the Dinamo defence. I don't even think Ben Chilwell's back on the pitch. He's still off. He's in a lot of pain. It did look like the hamstring has popped. A lot of pain as the England fullback. And again, right before the... I'm sure he was at least in the 55-man preliminary squad. Whether he would have made the final 26, you'd assume he might have. But what an unfortunate time to get an injury. There's only a minute left in this game. It looks like a typical example of a hamstring gone. He's just hobbling, giving up on the ball. He knows his night is over, and well, it could be his contention for a World Cup over.
I think that might be his World Cup dream over as well for Ben Chilwell. He's in a lot of bother, and it's always bad when a player pulls up somewhat off the ball. It's not like an impact injury. They're usually the worst. And it's going to be yet another injury concern for Chelsea, and probably a major one for England as well. England are blessed with a lot of good right backs. Left backs, there's probably less depth in that position. And now that Chilwell is injured, Luke Shaw is probably as good as nailed on the starting left back spot. Who gets the other one, though? That is going to be the question.
Well, that's certainly something for Gareth Southgate to think about. I'm sure he will have already been notified, if he isn't watching this game anyway, that it's a big concern that Chilwell is likely to be out. Well, at least very likely to be out of Chelsea's next few games. Of course, they'll be playing Arsenal on the weekend before Manchester City away in the League Cup, and then Newcastle away back in the Premier League. And, as a result of the injury, we have already gone past the 4 minutes of added time. We're nearly into a 6th one as Lubicic lumps the ball forward to the back post, headed by Mahrami, who does get it back. His possession looks towards the penalty area, back into Mahrami, does pull the trigger, blocked well by Mason Mount. Towards goal, cleared well by Thiago. To get the 6th one for Benfica, a fantastic night for them in Israel. Likely to see the final moments of this one at Stamford Bridge. Dinamo trying to get forward again, just playing for pride. The referee does in fact blow the full-time whistle, and Chelsea do end the group stage with a victory. It does condemn Dinamo to no more European competitions for this season. It'll be delight for Graham Potter, having responded well to their defeat against Brighton in the Premier League, but certainly concerns for them. The 2 injuries, one to Dennis Zakaria, who incidentally scored on his debut this evening. Perhaps even more concerningly, at least for England, injury to Ben Chilwell, who was just hobbling off towards the tunnel. It has finished at Stamford Bridge in the final match day of the Champions League group stage. Chelsea 2, Dinamo 1.
Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting markets, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck! Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting markets, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck! Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting markets, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck! Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting markets, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck! Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting markets, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck! Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting markets, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck! Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting markets, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck! Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting markets, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck! Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting markets, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck! Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting markets, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck! Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting markets, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck! Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting markets, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck! Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting markets, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck! Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting markets, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck! Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting markets, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck! Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting markets, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck! Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting markets, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck! Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting markets, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck! Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting markets, enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck! Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting markets, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent